everybody. Welcome to my podcast. I'm Sheridan Lyons. I'm the author of The Relationship Game, Gems from My Journey. And I have joining me Miss Evelyn Ford. She's an entrepreneur and she sells Eve's Nature Knows Best Ayurvedic products. They are hair products and sea moss. She also has a nonprofit organization for domestic violence called Angie's Braveheart. So welcome, Evelyn.
Thank you. How you doing?
Good. Okay, today we're going to be on here and we're going to be discussing relationship, of course, and we're going to touch on some topics, and one of the main topics will be narcissism, dating a narcissist, or discovering you're dating a narcissist. And so Evelyn is going to share some experience and information that she have gathered concerning that type of relationship. So, without further ado, are you ready to be questioned?
Sure.
All right.
No time like the present.
Okay, so let's do it. So my first question to you is, what was the status of your life before your marriage? Was it good, fair, bad?
I would have to say it was pretty fair. I wouldn't even say it was bad, even with the status that I was in. I was homeless, and what brought me to that stage in my life was I was the main caretaker for my mother. She had stage 4 cancer, so she needed pretty much all of my attention. So I ended up losing my job. I ended up losing my home. I took a great loss, and she passed away in 2011. And so I had to pretty much start all over again.
Okay. Well, condolences to you and your family for your loss. I know that had to be hard.
It really was.
Yeah. So how did you meet your spouse?
Well, I met him over 25 years ago, actually. I met him at, he was the store manager there at Track Auto. And I didn't see him. I didn't notice him, but it's like he was like stricken, like he was, really smitten by me at the time. And so I guess he decided to, ask me for my number, and it went from there to a first date.
So I take it you were attracted as well. You gave him your number.
Yeah, somewhat. I was somewhat.
Okay. All right. And now, so you all began to date, I'm assuming, right?
Yes.
How long?
Well, I wouldn't say, yeah, I would have to say date. We did start a date, but it wasn't immediately. It was just, we were building some form of relationship.
So did you do that through the process of dating, or you just knew?
We did, but it was a very short period of time. I believe our first date, he invited me out to his daughter's 2-year birthday party, and the mother of his daughter was there. And she was just so, like, she was following me around the house, being very attentive, like, you want any water, anything I can do for you or whatever. And I was like, okay, she seems like she's still, in love with him. And so I was like, okay, so.
This was his ex?
This was his daughter's mother. He only had one child.
His ex, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I could tell there was like some unfinished business there. And so after the birthday party, I just kind of, I just went ghost. I didn't, answer any of his calls or anything like that. I just, let it go.
Well, that went right into my next question. Were there any red flags?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that was. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to insert myself in a situation where it's unfinished business, and I could clearly see that. So I would have been setting myself up. So I just decided to just don't, take any of his calls or just not see him anymore.
Okay, so at some point, because you all got married, you
Mhm.
decided, I guess, maybe to overlook some of those red flags. And if
Well,
you did,
let me tell
why do
you,
you think you did?
that was, let me tell you, that was over 20 years. So I haven't seen him in over 25 years.
Okay, so this happened 25 years ago.
Absolutely. That's
Gotcha.
the very
Okay,
beginning.
gotcha.
Hmm.
Okay, so now he's emerged after 25 years, and you had that experience. And
Yeah, and that was shortly after I was in the when you asked me what was my life like
uh-huh,
in the beginning. Um, that's when he reached out to me. I don't know, what prompted him at the time, but later I found out. So I was going to house. I just went in a good place. And the last place I was at, it was like a sense of calmness came over me. And I was in the washroom and I looked in the mirror and I was like, you know what, Lord, I ain't even worried about it. If it's meant for me to be married, I'll be married. If it's meant for me to be in a relationship, I'll be in a relationship. I say, if it's not meant for me, I'm all right with that too. Use me however you want to use me. And it was like, I was okay. I just made peace with that.
okay.
And shortly after that confession or conversation I had with the Lord, I ended up getting a message in Messenger on Facebook. And Lord and behold, it was him.
Okay. So you are a believer, I take it from what you
Oh,
just stated.
absolutely.
And as a believer, is being unequally yoked something that you considered during that time?
Oh, I'm going to tell you, when you're in a state of just, you just got so much going on, it's like, even though those customs, that system, that belief system that you have, a lot of times it's not put into routine, it's not put into action, because you're not really focused, you're not really, you know um you're not really clearly thinking. And so even though I know that there are being unequally yoked is something um that I know about, it's just that it just wasn't in the front of my mind at the time.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
Hmm.
So now
Hmm.
things kind of took a turn for the worse. Would that be a correct statement?
I wouldn't say things took a turn for the worse, because at the time when he reached out to me, he reached out to me on Messenger. When he reached out to me, he wanted to see me, wanted to catch up, and I told him, "Hey, you know what? I'm going out of town, and when I get back, then maybe we can go out."
Okay. Let's fast
I went.
forward to the marriage.
Mhm.
Now you're married now. You decided to
Absolutely.
come together. So at this point, how did things turn for the worst?
Okay, so I wouldn't say it turned to the worst when I got married. I would say that all the signs to not get married was there before I got married.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
And so with me going through the amount of being homeless, going from house to house, being mistreated, just been through so much, losing my mom, losing my dad, just going through so much, losing my nephew, I thought, well, maybe, let me try to make it work, or let me give him room to sort out his emotions. I was just going through it, trying to figure it out, trying to find a way to, to um it was almost like an obligation, because in the midst of me going through everything that I did, he was there. He gave me he loaned me his car to drive. He gave me money to help me throughout getting a job. Just money in my pocket until I got on my feet. He was coming to, I ended up moving to Milwaukee. He ended up coming to Milwaukee every weekend, just to take me out to dinner. And I was like, wow. So to
Okay, so he
me,
was kind of sweeping you off your feet a little bit, huh?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
So,
even with that,
uh-huh.
so
So,
with that, I was willing to give him a chance, even when things wasn't, even when I saw things wasn't fitting into what I believe what a relationship's supposed to be like, if that makes sense.
okay, so how did you know or when did you decide this marriage was over?
I
And
decided
why did you decide?
I decided the marriage was over. I contemplated divorcing years ago. And I was toiling for years with the mindset of leaving. Okay. I was just toiling for years. Um, and it's like I prayed, had conversation with God. I had conversation with people I didn't even know because I was so desperate and looking for an answer because I didn't want to just get a divorce. I once married, I was willing to, do whatever it took to stay married because nobody want to get married to divorce.
So
So that was a big toil on me.
what was the communication like between the two of you?
If there was any, every time I try to have a communication with him with things that was going on in a relationship, like blended families, like he was married before. I was never married before. He was married before. So even, inappropriate behavior with exes and, with the children, just nonverbal communication, that it was a lot of that going on and we could never get it right.
So was infidelity a factor?
You know what? I know there was smoke.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? I saw smoke, but I never saw fire.
okay.
So I have to say I experienced a lot of inappropriate behavior.
Between him and the ex or somebody else?
Even the ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend, friend of the family,
Oh my
what they
goodness.
say. So I don't know.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it was just so much that I just felt like being in a relationship shouldn't be this complicated and it shouldn't look the way it was looking.
Okay. And
And
then
it shouldn't feel the way it felt.
now, if you or did you try to communicate those feelings to him? And if you did, what was his response?
Absolutely. So as I try to communicate um, with him regarding the feelings I had behind his behavior, the inappropriate, um, conversations, or he do not know how to have a conversation. I would try to talk to him and I will open the platform. The hardest thing sometimes is confronting people with things that they have done to you. Sometimes it's very hard. I learned to have conversations even when they feel uncomfortable. So as I tried to have conversation with him, it made me feel like he made me feel like I was being insecure or like something was wrong with me.
Okay. So, you mentioned, as I said when we opened up, about narcissists. Now, what was your first instinct clue to knowing that this is the personality that this man had?
Well, I would have to fast forward to now. About like a year and a half ago, I used to try to talk to his sister. That's a big mistake. No matter, because I was trying to figure him out, trying to find out, what I could do. I mean, and then she was a woman, so I felt like woman to woman, she should have been able to talk to me and share, and help me kind of figure this out because she knows her brother best. But unfortunately, she was pretty, she mainly attacked me, you know. But in that, I felt like I should have never, confided in her. But one day I got a text message from her and she sent me a video and it talked about narcissism. And I never heard of it before. I just never heard. And I listened to the video. Then I started, so it was just started hitting points that all of the signs that I saw in him.
Wow. So,
So I started researching more and more and more about it.
mm-hmm. And that led you
To understand why I wasn't able to have those uncomfortable conversations, why I wasn't able to, why that everything that happened within our relationship it was my fault. I understood because I was really hard on myself. I said, I can't be this difficult. I can't be this much of a problem. I'm like, what? And so it just was so like a load was just lifted off of me
wow, I
in
bet.
that discovery.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's a real eye opener for anybody because in looking at the personality of a narcissist, they have a way of making everything your fault.
Yes, I remember when I was at work and I left my glasses. So I was told him, I said, "Oh, I left my glasses at home. I can't see anything." I said, "I guess I'll just blow up the computer." He was like, "No, you need your glasses." So I bring them. I said, "Okay, fine." So he brought me my glasses. I guess he double parked because I was working on 300 West Wacker. Upper Wacker. So then when he parked, he went into the security. By the time he looked back there, he said he saw his car on the pool, the toll. But when I
No,
called him to see where he was at, he was already mad. And I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" "They towed my car, and I wouldn't even been down here if it weren't for you. Because of you being irresponsible, I wouldn't have been here. I don't never come downtown." And I'm like, "So how did that got to do with me, with what you did? You go downtown. Everybody knows Chicago. You're a native. You're a Chicago native. So why would you blame that on me?" And he
wow.
blamed it on me. So that was the first sign, and I didn't realize it at the time, but then it just started trickling, just, ooh, Lord.
Take a
Lord,
breath. Take a breath.
yes,
Okay, so in the Bible, a mate was created to be a helper. Uh, do you believe love has a place in that scenario?
yes, I do. You said in the Bible, God, what now? He says
Created a mate to be a helper.
a helper. Uh-huh.
And the reason I say that is because when you look at arranged marriages in other cultures where the parents actually arrange the children and they get married, their divorce rate is 4% compared to the United States, where our divorce rate is 40 to 50%.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason I'm asking. Do you think love actually does play a part in that scenario?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've met so many couples. Just recently, I was at this restaurant called Golden Bear. It's a breakfast spot, closed pretty early, just for breakfast only. And it was a couple sitting next to me and a girlfriend of mine. We had like um, a little outing. We just did a little shopping, and they were married for 35 years, enjoying one another, still learning one another. And I asked him, I said, "What caused you and your wife to remain married all these years?" And he was like, "Communication." He was like, "Communication." And my friend's like, "Leave them people alone." She was like, "No, it's not a problem." Answer them questions. But it was really nice. It was refreshing to know and to see people, loving each other, setting boundaries, and not letting their own children stand in their way.
So
You
when
know,
yeah, that makes a big difference, especially
that's
the
it.
boundary part. Um,
Absolutely.
Would you agree that men and women, their perception in relationship, is it love, help, or very different? What I'm saying is a man's perception of relationship as uh, a woman's perception, love or help. Do you think that they're the same or they're very different? Because
Oh, they're very different because a man wants what a man wants is well, I can't say what a man wants, I'm a woman, but what a woman wants is they want security. They want somebody that's going to love them and go and court them. See, a lot of men get out of courting. Courting is very important in relationship.
mm-hmm,
Communication is very important in relationship.
mm-hmm.
Intimacy is very important in a relationship. And a lot of men get so caught up with being available for everybody else, but they forget about home.
Yeah.
And then when after so long, when the woman is trying to communicate and tell the man, hey, this is happening. I'm feeling this. This. They're not listening. But then when you take action, it's already too late. You
So,
didn't.
so what part do you see yourself playing in the demise of that marriage?
That's a good question. I would have to say that I don't handle a lot of things as well as I could or should, you know. But now that I experienced this, I know better now. I have a better communication. I have a better way of handling. You know, I'm better at handling and communicating now throughout because of the demise of my marriage.
So if
So,
you, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
oh
off.
no, I'm good.
But if you could give us, say, three wise up moments, aha moments, whatever you want to title them, something about yourself, you know, that you would share with the audience, uh, three things that, you said you would do a relationship different and you would do it better. What are the three things that caused you to make that statement? The things that you see, the things that made you say, yeah, yeah, I could have done that different. Give us three things.
I would have, kept God first. You
Mm-hmm.
know, you say you trust him all the way. You know what I'm saying? Don't take matters into your own hands. Okay. That right there will
That's
free
a
up
huge one. That's huge.
that will free up a lot of stress, um, just a free up a lot of hurt and pain that you don't even have to experience because
Absolutely.
you let go and let God. You know what I'm saying? You gave him your husband to him to fix, and if he didn't fix him, or if it wasn't meant for God to, you know, fix him to be a better husband or work on me to be a better wife, then we just got to accept the hand that we dealt. But I would say, yeah, I would say that, and then I would say still do your part as a wife. If you gotta cook, cook. If you gotta make love, make love.
Yeah.
If you got, whatever you supposed to do your part. No matter what he does, don't take away from, so that now you do what you're supposed to do. God gonna take care of him. If you release him over and you cast your cares over, then give it to him and let it go. Don't play God too.
You got to really have faith to pull that one off. I'm just saying.
You do. You do. You do. You do. It's hard. But you ask me, hey, I'm just saying. But it
Okay.
comes with experience, though, sis.
Yes.
So
Yes.
the more experience, the more mature you become, and then you're able to, live in those types of moments in that way.
Okay. Okay. Third.
And then third would be when he is not available, sometimes make yourself assert yourself. Schedule, some time where we would go to the show or dinner or a friend's house. Just start putting, things into just assert yourself into his life. Even if he's not doing it, even if he's not that kind of guy, you
Okay.
know,
Okay.
even in being like a romantic person, you know what I'm saying? Just sometimes you might have to initiate some things, just show a person how you wants to be treated. So I would say those three things would be something I would, share with, you know, the young ones coming up and even some of our peers. So, hey.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, there's no dating limit or age limit to dating, and a lot of times they look at women and think, oh, well, you're older now, so you shouldn't want to be married. But it's like, okay, there are older men out here too. All of them are
Exactly.
young. So even though, you know what I'm saying, the age is going up, there are just as many old men as there are old women. But or maybe
So
not.
at this time in my life, I'm ready to just heal. I am ready to let go. I already, went before the Lord, and the Lord gave me permission. And
Okay.
when I felt the Lord gave me permission, I went, filed for divorce. Now I'm officially divorced. Now I'm in a stage of healing and, just building my businesses.
Well, with the ratio of women to men, I should have said earlier. Maybe there are more older women, but it doesn't matter because God is able to bring together a purpose partner. And
Yep,
that's the way
absolutely.
I've started looking at it now, a purpose partner, as opposed
Absolutely.
to somebody that fits some type of superficial image that you have in your head or a list, the list that women make of this, and this. Uh,
It's okay to have a
somebody
list.
right. It's okay to have a list, but I'm just saying
You got to be open.
look more focus more on the assignment that you have on your life,
Absolutely.
how they're going to flow, or you all are going to flow together in that assignment.
Absolutely.
So that's what I mean by a purpose partner.
Mm-hmm.
So when you find that, then you all are able to walk together. The Bible says,
Walk together and
how
agree.
can how can two walk together except they be agreed? So I am so grateful for having you on here, and I do
Oh, well,
appreciate
thank
your
you. I'm
openness.
happy to be on here because one thing you know, about manifestation, when you share and you help someone else, God will you manifesting that thing. You saying, hey, you drawing him near that purpose partner. And so you just preparing yourself for just that. We have to be an example because we have been given such a bad name for not being to withstand healthy relationships and healthy marriages.
Absolutely. So we're going to wrap this up, and we thank you all, appreciate you all for watching, and we will have Miss Evelyn Ford again. Believe me,
Oh, absolutely.
great
Thank you.
guest. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Relationship Game signing off. Bye bye.
Bye.